everyone. We are continuing here to monitor the severe weather situation. Larry, we have multiple warnings on the radar right now in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings and 2 tornado warnings still in place for parts of the region. It's been an active night, a dangerous night with confirmed tornadoes touching down. The biggest threat right now, we have had observed and confirmed tornadoes with this cell here for parts of the Rockville area, Manteno. This does include Southern Will and Kankakee counties. We're still finding that inflow into this storm, rotation still being noted with that severe or that tornado warning still in effect until 7:30. So this is approaching Manteno and I-57. So the possibility here of a tornado not out of the question still with the new additional tornado warning that was issued for Newton County in our area, as this will be sliding to the east until 7:45. So the far southern portion of Kankakee into Newton now, and this will be getting close to McClellan here as we head into about the next 30 to 45 minutes. And we'll continuing to not only monitor radar, but also watching rotation out there this evening. So right on top of Rockville, we're still noting some signature here of some spin in the atmosphere, but not as distinct as what we were seeing just about 30 to 45 minutes ago. But we have had reports. We have storm spotters out there this evening of a few tornadoes touching down in this area. I want to take the latest velocity here, and there you can see almost a better defined couplet with the red next to that bright almost green to white color there. This is to the south of St. Anne. Pembroke, you're included in this, and just to the north there of Beaverville. I actually want to take a quick little look into the velocity. This is showing very high winds. So just a quick little scan, and we're finding those winds up to at least 60 miles per hour. The potential for those winds to be a bit stronger here, not out of the question. We're also showing you our ABC 7 storm tracker out there on the roads this evening, and they are actually en route to Streeter. And that's where we had a confirmed tornado touchdown, that large wedge tornado that we were showing you video of. So anyone under tornado warning, do not take them lightly this evening. These storms have had a history of producing tornadoes. They're bringing strong tornadoes to the area, damage being reported. And once Eric does get there, he's heading south there on I-80. He will be bringing us a live picture and update from that area. And Larry, I hope that we're not seeing anything too destructive out of this, but there have been signs of some very strong wedge tornadoes touching ground this evening. Yeah, so far we haven't seen any major reports of damage. Fingers crossed it stays that way. One of the things that we'll be able to assess tomorrow from these pictures that we've seen of the tornadoes is they've likely carved a path in some of the fields that have soybeans and corn out there. So we'll be able to see the path of that storm from our chopper as we send it up tomorrow and take a look at some of the, hopefully there isn't any damage, but oftentimes when you get a big tornado like that, it leaves a trail right through the fields that you can easily see where the circulation was spinning as it was passing on through. So just to reset, here's all the severe weather warnings we have in place. Those 2 tornado warnings, this one until 7:30, this one until 7:45, and then the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place as well. These storms are moving not as fast as we thought they might, but they're still moving at a pretty decent clip at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. This portion of the storm complex is not moving that fast at all. That's why we've got the flash flood warnings in effect for this zone. There's another part of the storm that we've been focusing on too that I want to highlight again, and that's down here towards the Pontiac area and southward. This is starting to take on more of a derecho type of impact to it as it tracks towards Champaign. This could reach into parts of northwest Indiana, especially south of, say, Rensselaer over the next hour or so, because it'll reach the state line by 8 o'clock. And hopefully what happens is this kind of sucks the energy out of the atmosphere before it moves farther north, because the setup today had all this moisture flowing up from the south. And if you get a thunderstorm complex to the south of where we are, it shuts down that flow of moisture northward and can sometimes lead to a weakening trend with storms that are up in our area. So fingers crossed that stays the case there, but we're watching that little cluster of storms move off towards the east. And just to highlight some other spots here, DeKalb, you're in the thick of some pretty heavy thunderstorms right now with the threat for some high winds. And then also up here across Lake County, you've been getting hit pretty hard for the past 30 minutes to 45 minutes with real heavy downpours, quite a bit of lightning and gusty winds. But even in this area, you can see the intensity of the storm
has shown some signs of weakening. So again, all good signs up here to the north, not great signs, but we'll take whatever we can get in this situation where the storm is showing some signs of weakening. Even back towards DeKalb, there might be some subtle signs of the storm weakening, but you're really going to get into it in DeKalb here in the next couple of moments. Across the city, much of Cook County and much of the city has just seen some showers and some general thunderstorms push on through. A little heavier thunderstorm now in southern Cook County down the Dan Ryan, down I-57 as well, crossing over the Skyway. But of course down into Will County, that's where we've got the tornado warning still in effect. And let's just look at that one a little more closely again, because right over Manteno right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. We've been mentioning that for the past 20 minutes or so. Manteno, the worst is right over you as we speak. The velocity data showing that circulation right over Manteno, crossing over 57 as we speak. So this is the spot where if there's a tornado still happening, it would be in this general area and tracking off towards the east. So if you're over towards Grant Park, not Grant Park in the city, the town of Grant Park, take your tornado precautions in this area too. You're technically not under the tornado warning, but we'll see if they extend it off towards your area. Nonetheless, the threat is there for some very high winds, and they just trimmed this down. Cheryl, this is still in effect until 7:30 or 7:15.
In fact, they just announced that they will be canceling the tornado warning for Will County. It will continue for Kankakee and the Manteno area, but at least parts of it have.
Is that 7:15 or 7:30?
I believe it's 7:30.
I think it's 7:30, yeah. Yeah, another really small box highlighting where the circulation is still located with that storm. And then the other storm as well, we'll show you the circulation on that one. That one's tightening up. That one's really looking
That one's definitely becoming more impressive.
Yeah, this is near Leesville right now. You can see the circulation there near Pembroke and then pushing over towards the state line. This could be drawing closer to McClellan, Enos, right along 41. Hopefully it stays south of Lake Village. Of course, Lake Village got hit by that big tornado earlier this year, so hopefully this one stays south of there, but we'll keep an eye on that as it tracks to the north and to the east. But if you're in this general area, take that tornado precaution right now. And Cheryl, you got it on the shear tracker right there.
Yeah, I wanted to pair that with your velocity just because we can clearly see the velocity, the signature there, and then the shear tracks picking up on that increased spin in the atmosphere. So evidence here of this storm holding its strength and rotation. There has not been a confirmed tornado in this area, but it could drop a tornado at any point in time as we are looking at all of the tools, the radar, velocity combined to see that we are still finding spin within that area.
Cheryl, just got a report of a funnel cloud in that area north of Beaverville, which is that storm we're watching right now. There's the updated tornado warning. Let me look at that and take a peek and see what they're saying about the location of that tornado.
And it's moving to about the east-northeast here, about 40 miles per hour, not bringing up a whole lot of cities here, but Pembroke at 7 now, and then McClellan here getting closer to you at about 7:15. So anyone in this area, again, this borders Lake Village, but you're just off to the north of it. So this will be heading a little bit farther to the south and getting closer to 41 here in the next 20-25 minutes as this warning remains in effect. And this warning was issued and it will stay in effect here until 7:45. The tornado warning has been canceled for Iroquois County. That's a little bit farther off to the south and west. Just getting updates as we continue to communicate.
This one, the tornado potential is right over Hopkins Park, or 9 miles northwest of Morocco, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So just putting a track on this at 30 miles per hour. It'll take it off towards Indiana here in the next couple of moments. And I'll do the track on this as it moves over towards the McClellan area, just very close to Pembroke as well. Potentially up towards Lake Village. Here's the timing. Conrad at about 7:25. Let me adjust this just a little bit to get some more towns in here. Lake Village around 7:27 if it continues to kind of drift a little bit more farther to the north. So in those zones here, really take your tornado precautions. McClellan and Conrad 7:20, 7:25. That's that circulation passing right over top of you with this storm. Obviously it's going to rain ahead of time. Lake Village, you're starting to see the rain increase over your head, and also the potential there for some large hail with this storm as well as it's moving off towards the northeast. Talmadge, Pembroke, you're in the thick of this supercell right now with heavy rain and some large hail potential, in addition to the fact of some gusty winds coming down at this time. So let me broaden the view out and we'll put this into motion. These little individual supercell thunderstorms were the ones that we were most concerned about throughout the day, and those are the ones that have spawned the tornadoes as they've tracked through our area. They're still rather intense. You can see the nature of them still trying to wind up and rotate. So we'll keep an eye on this one here that's now still prompting the warning in Kankakee County. Doesn't look like it's letting up just yet because you still see that little tail and that little hook there. So as this tracks into Will County and eventually over into parts of Lake County, Indiana, we'll have to see if we get a continuation of that warning off towards the east. At this point, it hasn't happened just yet, but it's certainly a possibility with that part of the storm. And of course, this supercell as well, we're watching as it moves across the state line. A lot of activity on the radar, Cheryl. Again, that big cluster of storms to the south also is just ramping up. Let me just give you the wider view here because
yeah, I have that up as well.
Oh, you got it. Yeah,
I have it with the lightning. You have it without, which is a good, split screen to see the difference of this part of this storm. But the good news, Larry, unfortunately, downstate, not good news. And we don't want to say truly it's good news if it's really going to be impacting anyone at all, but it will be on a trajectory off to the east. So through Livingston County, most of this will be staying the brunt of it to the south of I-80 here in northern Illinois. We will certainly likely see this moving in to our far southern counties here included in northwest Indiana, which includes Newton and Jasper. So you're getting in on some action now with the rain and storms, and then we'll have to really watch this. But Larry, this is beginning to bow. This is going to potentially turn in to another derecho-like event like we saw yesterday with those straight line winds that really brought damage all across northern Illinois. This is such a dynamic system. We're getting everything at play here with extreme rainfall, very intense lightning. We're getting tornadic supercells, and then we're also getting damaging straight line winds, gusts up to about 70, even 80 miles per hour plus, not out of the question. So it is just a very active night. Just to go over everything again, we have those scattered showers and storms here south of the city right now, down towards Kankakee, still finding spin on some of these storms. Very heavy rain to the north with severe warnings to the south as this part of the storm line, squall line there, continues to push through and really run its way through parts of Livingston County. The tornado warning in the area here still for Manteno until 7:30. That is about to outrun the box there, but more concerning here is this storm to the south where we have the tornado warning for parts of Kankakee and Newton County until 7:45. We definitely get a better idea of this storm on velocity as we are still finding a tight couplet of that red next to the green. So anyone close to the Pembroke area, this is just passing to the east. Stay in your safe place for now. Give it at least another 10 more minutes as it moves to the east. And anyone out ahead of this or in this zone, you need to stay in shelter. Conrad, McClellan, watching out for you as it approaches 41. And then Lake Village, you're just up to the north, but we're watching this closely as that circulation is very close to the northern border of this polygon here. We also have video coming in. This is Streeter, and this is another image of a tornado. I could say funnel cloud, but this is likely touching the ground there just with the structure that we're seeing from the cloud base there. And this is a bit different from that wedge tornado, Larry, where we're seeing a bit more rope-like tornado structure within this, almost stove-type-like a bit, as this funnels through parts of the Streeter area. So again,
we're talking about the cycling of the circulation, and that's sometimes what happens with the tornadoes. It kind of cycles to a weak funnel or a weak little rope tornado like that, and then it intensifies back into a wedge tornado.
Yep, exactly. And I don't know if that is getting us some ground confirmation there, but it does appear that that spotter in that location potentially I don't know if we're seeing debris on the ground. We can't confirm that yet.
You know what's interesting, Cheryl? Look at like in the middle of the storm there, you see that other kind of
up towards the top.
Another rope tornado coming out of that. So that whole base is rotating, and there's these little mini spin-up vorticities right along that broad circulation that's spinning up these little funnel clouds.
And you don't see that every day, and that's just a sign of how volatile and how much spin is in the atmosphere to get those rope-like structures. I mean, this is a great video where you can see it starting off as one singular circulation here. Again, this is spawned from the same storm that we were talking about that produced that wedge-like tornado, which was much wider and almost as wide as it was high in terms of height. And then this a bit thinner, but then as it continues to move through, as the storm is cycling, there's multiple multiple vortices within this thunderstorm, this parent supercell thunderstorm, and then you're getting and seeing multiple areas of rotation and producing multiple tornadoes within one supercell
And Cheryl,
thunderstorm.
we just got a new tornado warning for Lake County, Indiana for a separate part of the storm that we've been watching. Let's go right to the radar because a tornado warning for Lake County until 8 o'clock, and it does include Merrillville and Gary right now. The potential tornado is right over St. John, near Dyer as well, moving off towards the northeast. Let me show you the reflectivity data, and there's that little hook. It's kind of messy because there's another storm to the south, but there's a hook echo right in this general area, which is producing rotation enough to produce a potential tornado. It's not confirmed by being on the ground, but it is radar confirmed of this potential tornado. And boy, look at that. This velocity data right over St. John is where this tornado is potentially located. And there's really a well-defined velocity signature here. So St. John, go to that safe room right now. Don't delay. Just get in there and stay there. Okay, now it's a confirmed tornado on the ground. Let's see what they're saying. The confirmed tornado on the ground, you see the purple shading here. So there it is, moving off towards the east. So if you're over towards Ross, over towards north of Crown Point, over towards Southmore Park, Hobart, Merrillville, you need to be in your safe area right now. This is a dangerous, dangerous storm, right, moving through parts of Lake County, Indiana, with the potential for a tornado on the ground moving through this heavily populated area of parts of Lake County. Cheryl, have you seen the confirmation on the warning there, what they're saying?
Spotter confirming wall cloud and rotation. I have not seen a report or an image coming in yet of confirming this on the ground.
Radar confirmed.
Radar confirmed.
Yeah, there's
and
the debris signature.
Exactly, and you can clearly see why we're seeing this confirmed tornado on the ground. As Larry brings up that debris signature, we were talking about this about 2 to 3 hours ago. We can see the potential of debris being lofted into the air with radar. Radar scans the skies. It picks out meteorological objects such as rain, hail, and all of that information comes back to the radar, and we assess it in the computer, and it gives us a value in terms of mathematical calculations. But when something is off, it's a red flag, and we can see that when radar scans the skies. We get those images back, and there you can see just that spike there on top of St. John. It doesn't look like the rest, which means it doesn't look like rain or hail. It's likely a sign of trees or some damage being lofted in the air, and that coincides, Larry, as you have that up, I have velocity up, and we can see this tight couplet, and this is on top of St. John right now. Schererville, you're in this area. Rolling Hill Estates. Anyone in this tornado warning in Northwest Indiana right now, you need to be in your basement, lowest level of your home. Put as much room between you and the outside as possible. If you don't have a basement, get to the lowest level in a closet potentially. Even in an interior bathroom is always the smartest place to be versus closer to a wall or any windows, Larry.
And there are a lot of apartment complexes here along US 30. I used to live in an apartment complex here at one point in my earlier days. If you know your neighbors on your lower level of that apartment complex, go there and see if you can ride this out with them. If not, go to a small interior room away from the outside walls of your building, away from windows obviously, and let this storm pass on by. Still, there's the latest scan, still showing the debris signature up in the air here just now between Schererville and St. John, heading towards Rolling Hill Estates. Right over US 30 right now is where this will be tracking as we go through the course of the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, and eventually towards the Merrillville area as well. It will cross over I-65. I'm going to switch back to velocity data. There it is, still showing that coupling, the greens and the reds right next to each other over Schererville, right over St. John as well. So what's happening is that debris is being lofted up into the sky, and the radar's detecting that it's not raindrops that's up there, it's something else, be it dirt, debris, leaves, twigs, maybe, hopefully not, but it could be damage from property being lofted up into the sky high enough to be detected by the radar. Looking at the reflectivity mode, there is that hook still right there. So again, this is tracking off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour. So let me put a track on this and we'll show you the arrival time. If you're in Merrillville, literally it's just a matter of minutes here in Merrillville. Merrillville at about 7:29, which I think it'll be a little bit sooner than that, which is probably closer to like 7:25. Hobart around probably 7:30 or so will be the circulation tracking over top of you. So dangerous situation right now. You know, when we see these reflectivity data showing up with the debris signature, that gives us a really heightened sense that this is the real deal. This is a dangerous situation. It's about as heightened as you can get without a visual representation of the tornado on the ground. So this is very serious here across parts of Lake County, Indiana. Cheryl?
Yeah, and this is not good news, but we just had another tornado warning pop up. I was just about to say this is the one tornado warning that we have, but another one was just issued here.
Oh, it is, yeah.
For Lake and Will counties now just to the south, and this is coming out of Will County right around Beecher area. So this is now a new tornado warning. This is radar indicated here, some spin on the radar, and you can see for Lake and Will County until 8 p.m. So again, this will be moving, crossing over the state line. Cedar Lake, Lowell, you're in the path of this. Winfield off to the south just a bit here as I move that up Eagle Creek. So this will be getting close to about I-65. Certainly, though, ominous is that tornado warning just up to the north. As we switch over to velocity, we are getting that signature, that red next to the green, also confirming potentially debris being lofted in the air at this point in time. So a confirmed tornado has been reported in this area. St. John, this is passing to the east. Give it a few minutes. Stay in your shelter. Ross, 55 here. Merrillville, I-65. Hobart, you're in this path, as well as Deep River. This is where we're getting into more populated areas as well. So anyone in this warned zone, Rolling Hill Estates, Griffith, Ross, Lauderdale, Merrillville, Hobart, Deep River, we talked about Lake Station, you're out ahead of this. New Chicago, Glen Park is included in this area. New Elliott, this is just on top of you right now. And so this is really impacting areas from Broad Street, Klein Ave, East Highway 330. As we move to the east, Hendrick Street, also Taney Place, Lincoln Village in the path of this right now. This is where we're going to start to hear those winds really pick up in intensity as the storm passes overhead. So Burr Street, West 91st Street, West 87th Street, Chase Street. Moving a little bit farther to the east, Turkey Creek Meadows, West 61st Street, Mississippi Street, and that's intersecting right where we have I-65, Green Acres, Mississippi Street in this area we just mentioned, Madison Street, and Liberty Park. If you are live close to any of these streets that we are picking up in the path of the storm, you need to be in that safe place. I know I'm hearing a lot of alerts coming in. Any new information with this storm, Larry?
So we haven't got a new updated look on that storm yet to see if they've updated the alert to say if it's still confirmed or not. What will happen is the box will shrink down when that happens, and that hasn't shrunk down just yet. So the debris signature that we've been looking at, let me go back to it. It's still there near Rolling Hill Estates, just right over US 30 as we speak. Let me zoom in closer right there where you see it looks like a orange ball. That would be the debris signature being picked up on the radar right over Rolling Hill Estates. Now this can be a couple minutes old because it takes a few moments for the radar to process that information. So there's the new scan. So the new scan that just came in does not show that debris ball like it was. So there's the potential that this has weakened a little bit. Don't really say it's weakened completely and fizzled out because that's definitely not the case, but they may not be lofting as much debris up into the air as it was just a few moments ago.
And it's just to the east of St. John now.
Yeah, and it's just crossed over US 30, so Rolling Hill Estates, over towards Independence Hill, over towards Lottville. Those are the spots right now where this circulation is, and that looks really ominous on velocity data. Those bright greens and the bright reds right next to each other that you're showing, Cheryl, that's a really tight couplet.
Yep. And that's where we're finding those winds going towards the radar, winds going away from the radar. So that's where we find that center of the spin on top of New Elliott right now and Rolling Hill Estates, Independence Hill, Lauderdale, and Ross out ahead of this. This is moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put a track on this and get an updated path and estimate time for everyone out ahead of this. So Ross 7:24, Hobart 7:32. So within the next 10 minutes for you, Lake Station 7:35, getting closer to Willow Creek at 7:39. So this is going all the way up also to the lakefront there. So please heads up, anyone in this warned area. We have had a confirmed tornado in this warned zone. Off to the south, taking a look, we're still finding some very decent rotation here as well, Larry. This to the east of Beecher. So Clausville, Cedar Lake, North Hayden, and Lowell, you're out ahead of this. This isn't nearly as defined fine as the other one, but still finding some broad rotation here with radar indicated rotation. So the potential of a tornado in this area, not out of the question. These are dangerous storms right now. They are fueled by the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is prime with a lot of warmth and moisture. So I believe we have Eric in Streator. Is this where this video is coming in from? This is the first look at some of the damage coming in. This is not what we want to see. You have a gentleman there.
It's terrible, Cheryl.
I hate seeing this. Folks, their homes just completely destroyed, damaged. And this is just the first signs that we're getting in. Not what we wanted to see. We saw evidence of the large wedge tornado confirmed on the ground near this area. And here you can see the neighborhoods and the folks coming out to assess the damage this evening. We have emergency personnel on the scene helping those that have been impacted. Trees down, roofs blown off, materials from the homes just totally destroyed, leveled and flattened in this region. Here you can see all of the debris on top of this car and that home. I'm really praying and hoping everyone is safe in this area right now. Larry.
Wow, it's heartbreaking. See the impact of that wind on those houses.
There's a lot of damage and a lot of folks in this area right now.
Cheryl and Larry, Rob here with you. So these are our first images of those tornadoes you were talking about in Streator, and we've seen a lot of pictures of those twisters. Sometimes it looked like more than one trying to make land there, and now we can confirm that is the case. Our crew's now out in this county in Streator. We're likely heading to northwest Indiana, like the both of you said, as we saw some severe weather moving through the St. John, Cherville area. But these are some of the new images and now video that we're getting of what people have seen as that storm moved through Streator. Unfortunately, confirmed damage there, and our crew on the ground as first responders are trying to assess what was happening there, as well as families. It looked like there was video there of someone still in their bedroom, on their bed with the windows blown out. Looked like maybe a younger person. Just trying to summarize what happened, as many people look like they've lost their homes in Streator. This is video from Streator just a short time ago. You see a couple different angles of this tornado. There's a trailer home there. So we do know now in Streator some homes have been damaged. Cheryl, as you mentioned, they look to be destroyed. We do not have any reports of any injuries just yet, but it is early in the evening in terms of that. Now first responders will try and assess the damage there in Streator, but the both of you are keeping an eye now in northwest Indiana where there's active warnings.
Yeah, and I would suspect there's damage going on right now in Cherville, from St. John to Cherville, heading towards the Merrillville area, because this is still a radar confirmed tornado for that part of Lake County right over US 30 right now. I was looking at some of the debris signatures here while we're watching this video. I'll just tell you, right between Ross and Merrillville is where this tornado is located. So if you're in Merrillville right now, Ross, the southern parts of Gary, you need to be taking your tornado precautions at this moment. Don't delay. Get into that safe room right now if you're in Merrillville, over towards Hobart, and then over in the south side of Gary. And even on the east side of Gary, you need to be in your tornado safe room. This is the debris signature feature, and there are still some specks showing up here of debris being lofted. So right over 55 and getting close to I-65. This is not too far from Merrillville High School where this circulation is located. So still a potential tornado on the ground with this. And look at the circulation there. The reds and the greens right next to each other, crossing over there's US 6 crossing over 53 here momentarily, and then just right over I-65 tracking to the east and northeast. So Hobart, you're next in line to be hit by this tornado, as is the northern side of Merrillville. You're in it right now. Lake Station, could be impacted by this tornado as it lifts off towards the north and the east. There's US 6. Here's I-80 right up here, and then there's the Skyway through Gary as well, I-90 through Gary. So this is an area here where you're going going to be under the impact of this tornado as it tracks in that general direction. It's moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So just to track the circulation, I'm going to track it a little ahead of time too, by a couple of moments, just to give you more lead time here. So Lake Station at about 7:41, Ogden Dunes at about 7:49, Wilson here at about 7:51. Let me put a larger track on this, widen the perspective a little bit here, and give you more of a broader view. This is again about 30 to 35 miles per hour. I'll track that leading circulation right there.
And we are getting reports, Larry, as you track that, a new debris signature crossing over I-65 between Merrillville and 8094. So a new tornado warning will be coming for southern Lake Indiana and northern Newton for rotation near Schneider.
Another one, yeah. So there's the track of this one. New Chicago 737, Wilson at about 7:40, 7:50, and Hobart here in the next couple of moments. So again, dangerous situation here across Lake County as this storm likely still producing a tornado. Got the pink box on it as it moves right through Merrillville and I-65, crossing over into the northeastern corner of Lake County, Indiana.
And if you were just with us, we were showing you images and video of the damage that we're seeing. So we really just want everyone to take this situation seriously. If you're in a tornado warning tonight, you need to get to the lowest level of your home in your basement. If you don't have a basement, you want to be in an interior room away from walls and windows. There you can see some of the damage coming in from the Streeter area. I mean, we're seeing homes completely destroyed, leveled, all of these materials being lofted, and all of the damage and the debris you could see just scattered and littered all across this area. And it does appear like many homes in this region were impacted and hit by potentially a very strong tornado. So we're just using this video to show you this is what these storms are capable of doing this evening. They're volatile, the atmosphere is angry tonight, and we want everyone to stay as safe as possible. So listen closely, have multiple ways to receive warnings this evening. And if you're under a tornado warning, even a severe thunderstorm warning, it's
5 miles per hour. So extremely large, dangerous tornado on the ground right now.
And we're seeing signs of that. And this looks very similar to those storms that were moving through the Streeter area. We were getting confirmation and videos and photos in of a large wedge tornado. When Larry and I, or any meteorologist here, sees a signature with the greens next to the reds like this, a very defined couplet, you can see it on a wider view on Larry's, because we now have three tornado warnings in Northwest Indiana. This one confirmed on the ground. So yeah, and that one close to Schneider, Larry, also showing some very strong rotation. So this is the area in any of these warnings. Please get to your basement, lowest level of your home. And the latest scan doesn't do, it looks like it's still holding on to its intensity there, here crossing over 53 and I-65. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it does not
Oh my
look
gosh.
good. Oh,
this is,
look at the debris signature, yeah.
This is not what you want to see. This is evidence of, Larry, a lot of debris right now.
That is a very, very
being
large
lofted
tornado.
Up and high within this storm.
This is a terrible situation. This is a highly populated area with a very large tornado on the ground right over I-65 right now, heading towards Hobart. So you have a chance here. You need to be in your safe room right now. That's a small interior room. Basement's preferred. If you don't have a basement, go into that small closet or bathroom that has no exterior walls. You need to go to that safe room right now. If you've never sheltered for a tornado, this is the one you need to shelter for. This is as bad as it gets when we're talking about a tornado on the ground, this large of a tornado, this destructive of a tornado heading right into Hobart as we speak. So you need to take this one seriously and get to that safe room as fast as you can.
Yep, anyone in this tornado warning, please, please, please be in your basement, lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, interior room, sometimes you have a closet, under a stairwell, or even a bathroom. Those are great places to be if you don't have a basement and you can't get underground. This is producing extremely high winds and lofting debris hundreds of feet into the sky right now, and evidence of a strong tornado on the ground right now passing to the east of I-65. It's also still a busy time of the night. This is 7:30. We're just getting past that rush hour time, but still this is a highly traveled highway here. 90 just to the north, Lake Station, Hobart there, Deep River. You're just out ahead of this. If you're in the Hobart area, you need to buckle down, stay with us. We're going to keep you here with us. We're going to get you through this. This is going to continue to move through over the next 10 minutes. You need to stay in your safe place with a large confirmed tornado here on the ground. Ainsworth, Sedley, Libertyville, 145, Chesterton, heads up. This is heading in your direction. And Burlington, Valparaiso, watching out for you as well. The center of the circulation just to the north, but if this takes any turn a little bit farther to the south, you'll be impacted by this.
Yeah,
and they issued a new warning out ahead of it.
I'm going to say there's guaranteed you'll get a tornado warning into Porter County with this. So Chesterton, Portage, Ogden Dunes, you're in the new tornado warning that just has come out. Southern or northern parts of Valparaiso as well. If this curves more to the east instead of northeast, it could track through the northern parts of Valparaiso as well. So the warning has been extended. You can see it on the map there on Cheryl's map, as you can see it a little bit better on the outline there, the velocity data. But just looking at the replay of that debris signature, it's expanded. The debris signature has gotten larger, which means that the tornado has gotten larger as the storm crossed over I-65 and is now tracking off towards the east. When you look at it on reflectivity data, it looks impressive, but it's not a solo storm out there. It's kind of connected to another storm, but it's got this really well-defined rotation signature with it on the velocity data, and because of the debris signature, we're seeing the debris being lofted up into the air. My heart is sinking. I'm sure yours is right now too, Cheryl, because this is the last thing you ever want to see happen in our area. A tornado this size in a heavily populated area right there from Merrillville to Hobart, now stretching into parts of Porter County in the next few moments. So again, if you're in Chesterton, if you're in Portage, if you're over towards Crocker, Willow Creek, Lake Station, Liberty, Robbie Woods, Sedley, those are the areas where this tornado is heading in your direction. Get into that safe room. If you have a few moments, if you're over in Chesterton yet, to seek shelter, I would encourage you to take a pair of shoes with you into the safe room in case you have any broken glass in your house. You don't want to be walking barefoot through your house if you happen to have some damage. And if you have bicycle helmets, take those to your safe room. Give the kids the bicycle helmets as well. Take them to that safe room and just ride this thing out, because it'll pass by and it'll go by quickly, but you want to be in that safe room as it moves overhead.
Don't waste any time looking for anything, though. If you're in Hobart, you need to get down to the basement, lowest level of your home. You can also substitute, grab a pillow or a blanket, anything to give you some relief or protection from any outside materials potentially hitting you. But Larry, this debris signature is almost growing in size as we sit here and speak, and it's absolutely gut-wrenching because we were watching these storms evolve and develop. We have seen damage coming in from the Streator area. The latest scan taking it back just a bit, but still evident of that tornado on the ground with the debris being lofted at this point in time. This is on top of Hobart right now. It will continue to the east at about 40 miles per hour. We've seen what the tornadoes have done already in parts of the area, and those storms weren't showing signs of this type of debris or this much debris being lofted. And we can see the destruction that's coming out of the Streator area. So please, please, please do not take these storms lightly. This is a dangerous situation with a tornado, considerable damage likely ongoing right now as this moves to the east in parts of Lake County. This is just to the south of Lake Station, but if you're in Lake Station, I want you in your safe place as well. If you're under the tornado warning, you need to be in the basement, lowest level of your home as this continues to push on through. A very dangerous situation. It's not often, Larry, that we see a signature like this develop and pop up on radar, and it's continuing for some amount of time here. I'm continuing to watch each scan that comes in and hoping that it continues to lessen in size and intensity, but still strong evidence of this tornado on the ground and strong evidence with velocity compared when we compare that with the debris signature as well as radar and reflectivity, it's evident here that we have this tornado that's continuing to the east, and also why a new tornado warning was extended out east of the original warning. So Hobart, this is continuing to rock through your area right now. Stay in that safe place. Anyone out to the east, out ahead of this storm, we have 130 there, Route 6. We can zoom in a little bit more. East Cleveland Avenue, North Michigan Avenue, High Street, East 10th Street in the path of this getting hit right now. We have Willowdale Road, Swanson Road, Willow Creek Road. Moving to the east, Lute Road, Airport Road, Robbins Road. This is a heavily populated area. We also have I-80 just to the north of this. This is dangerous. Not only do we have homes, but we have major highways running through northern Indiana, and it is not too far off from where we're seeing the center of the circulation as we continue to track this one strong tornado on the ground right now. And I don't want to take those other warnings lightly. We still have other tornadoes on the map here. You can see Cedar Lake, some broader rotation approaching I-65 here from Southeast Grove, Eagle Creek up towards Winfield. Anyone in this zone, safe zone with tornado warning at place, radar indicated rotation there. And then just off to the south here, this is to the east of Schneider, and this will continue to cross over 55. But certainly the most dangerous storm on the map right now is this one in northwest Indiana, right around Hobart as it's passing to the east.
And new tornado warnings for Newton and Jasper counties as well. I'll just show you on my map here. This tornado warning for Iroquois County, which covers the entire county, has been extended for much of Newton and Jasper counties and Benton County as well. This is squall line tornadoes that are coming from that squall line back to the west. I'll switch to the radar data. The squall line that's closing in on Watseka has the potential to produce numerous spin-up tornadoes as it moves off towards the east really rapidly. So much of northwest Indiana under a tornado warning at this point. There are 3 tornado warnings in Lake County, 1 in Porter County, and 1 large tornado warning for Newton and Jasper counties. So this is about as worst case scenario as you can get here. And look at this, the third tornado warning in southern Lake County has a confirmed signature to it. So this is a confirmed tornado here, southwest of Eagle Creek, closing in on 65 as we speak as well. So if you're in southern parts of Lake County, basically right before you get to the Kankakee River is where this tornado is located, and it's going to cross over I-55 and then eventually I-65 here near Orchard Grove, and also near Eagle Creek is where this tornado is located. So 2 confirmed tornadoes on the ground right now in Lake County, Indiana, and a 3rd potential tornado right in the central part of the county as well. But of great concern as we've been watching, and Cheryl, I know you've been watching here as I've been talking, the debris signature still has not gone away. Hate to see that. And then the velocity data still showing the indication. Closer to, say, Lake Station and Ogden Dunes, McCool as well. This will be crossing over the toll road. Really where the toll road and I-94 intersect is where this circulation is pretty much going to be crossing over, near Willow Creek and McCool as well. So this is a spot here where there's not much access to get off the highways. Hopefully folks are able to stop before this tornado heads over the highways. Oftentimes State Highway Patrol will shut down a highway if a tornado is coming in a direction and hold traffic until the tornado passes. Don't know if they're doing that in Indiana right now, but that would be the hope and the goal right now, that we can help this go through without hitting anybody on the highways. Look at the shear tracker you got pulled up there.
Yep, and just strong evidence also confirming that this was a large tornado on the ground moving through St. John right now, Merrillville, and we're still finding the signs of the strong rotation at play right now, just to the north and east of Merrillville there, as it will continue to cross over the county line into Porter County. So anyone from Tresterton off to the south, just to the north of Valpo, you're in the path of this storm, where we're still finding some very strong rotation, and still at this point in time, okay, the debris signature is becoming less tight, which is a beginning sign that we would want to see. It's not the best sign, but still something for us. But we're still finding that tight couplet here of velocity into Porter County as this will continue to the east. So this is now just passing to the east of Hobart, Lake Station, McCool, down towards Sedley, Ogden Dunes, just to the north of the center of the circulation. So this is a dangerous storm. It is confirmed tornado on the ground at this point in time. And we're continuing to monitor closely. And we're also getting reports of emergency management going out after these storms passing through. And they are reporting signs of significant damage. There was a semi blown over on I-57. So that was with storms that moved through earlier. But we have seen the signs and the destruction. And we have the video coming in. And this is still coming in from the Streator area. And you can just see homes completely destroyed and leveled. And you can see the emergency personnel there in the back as well on site. A lot of folks are being impacted tonight by these dangerous, destructive storms.
Cheryl, I've got a little bit of information here, if I can find it, from State Police. As we look at to the left, what you're saying there is Streator. That's where Eric Kong is with our crew. Let me read this from you. This is from State Police. They were notified a tornado touchdown within the Streator city limits. Multiple troopers there assisting. Down power lines, gas leaks. Illinois Route 18 going into Streator is closed as first responders from multiple agencies are clearing that area. A train stopped at the yard, this according to State Police, was also reportedly blown over. This is important for families. Reunification for displaced residents, separated families. If you're looking for loved ones, that's Streator City Hall, 204 South Bloomington Street. An active situation. State Police there assessing. As you can see, first responders there in the background as well. You see those power lines right there. People need to be really careful if there are any active lines and any situations where gas leaks could become much worse, because State Police are taking a look at that. Our storm tracker in Streator with Eric and his crew keeping an eye on that. But as you two mentioned, that beast of a storm over Hobart and I-65, you're still keeping an eye on. Okay, we've just gotten some sound in from Streator and our crew. I have not heard this. I'm going to listen with you for the first time.
It was really scary, and like I haven't experienced a tornado in a hot minute, so.
We heard it coming, so we hurried up and ran into the bathroom and sat in the bathroom floor. Her house is okay, but the other people's around here is just totally devastated. So, no, we heard the sirens and we stayed in the bathroom. So, I feel so sorry for everybody else.
The tornado warning came across my phone, and it said it was till 6:15. And then I was watching the weather on the TV, and then I heard the sirens go off. I went to the bathroom real quick, and then it hit. I mean, it sounded like a train was going through. It blew my front window out, and then I was in the bathroom, I saw the light in the bathroom ceiling was there. My whole back end was taken off. So then I got up, she and I were in the bathroom huddled by the tub, and the two little ones were, I don't know where they were, but I found one, and then I got this one too. So, but yeah,
you're okay.
I'm okay, thank God. I mean, and when it hit. I mean, it was like there was no time.
This is live of Streator again. Unbelievable firsthand accounts from people talking to our crews about surviving this twister that has destroyed homes. You see blown out windows in those SUVs. One woman saying she went into her bathroom, and next thing she knew, she looked up and there was sky. These people of Streator, much like many Midwesterners, heeding the warnings from meteorologists, using their phones, taking shelter, and it likely saved their lives. Larry and Cheryl, what an important message to take this seriously. And thank goodness those people talking are okay. Strength and love to the other ones there who are dealing with this, because just a big storm in Streator. I can't even imagine what those people are going through here in the last hour as they share those stories of survival.
It is heartbreaking, Rob, and our hearts go out to them. Still have, I got to get to this confirmed tornado still on the ground in Portage right now. So Portage, Burns Harbor, Porter, Chesterton, Dunesacre, Porter Beach. This tornado is still on the ground here right over I-94, lifting through Portage as we speak, so right over the toll road as well. So it's where the toll road and I-94 kind of split apart, and one heads off towards Michigan, the other one heads towards Ohio. That's the spot where this tornado is located, right in the town of Portage right now, heading towards Burns Harbor, Porter, Chesterton, Dunes Acre, Porter Beach, and over towards Tremont as well. That's kind of the zone where we're really keeping an eye on this rotation right here. Still showing up on the velocity data. Cheryl's got it right there. The reflectivity data still shows this little hook echo here. And just to go back to the debris signature, still showing, yeah, there it is. It's still showing up right here. Still not as well defined as it was, but any type of debris signature up in the sky represents that this is creating damage and on the ground.
And Larry, this storm is moving rather slowly at 30 miles per hour. So it has time to work its way through this area, producing damage at a slow pace. And that is just really unfortunate, and we are still finding distinct signs that this storm is likely producing a tornado at this point in time. And you can see the latest scan on velocity, that green, that red right next to each other. We're still finding that couplet in this area. So the Chesterton area, this is, like Larry said, where we have 94 and I-80. It's crossing over I-80 right now, riding right along that highway, 94 just to the north, and then we have their Route 6 out ahead of it. So anyone in this region, you need to stay in your safe place. Liberty, McCool, Chesterton, Northwood Park, Roby Woods, Sunman, Burdick, and Burnsville, Pine, Wake Robin Field. So we're monitoring this so very closely as it continues to develop and evolve. And this is an evolving situation, but there have been no signs of this storm weakening as we've had it warned here as it moved out of Lake County into Porter County. So Liberty, this is on top of you, Chesterton, and let's look at the very latest in terms of that debris signature. We're still finding a debris signature here just to the south of I-80, just to the south there of Crocker, and that's Liberty. So we're still finding some signs of debris being lofted into the air at this point in time. In addition, we have multiple tornado warnings just off to the south. So we are not out of the woods anytime soon. You could see more tornado warnings for parts of Lake County, and then a larger area was just issued here for Newton and Jasper. So you can see the large nature of this warning, and that's because we have a strong line of storms here back to the west, moving out of the Waseca area, and this line of storms within these notches could produce some spin-up tornadoes in nature. So tornadoes will be a threat as this races through the east or moves to the east. These storms really aren't racing because they're taking on a speed of about 30 miles per hour. But yes, this is a new tornado warning that has been issued for Newton and Jasper County. This warning will remain in effect until 8:45 here. So the severe thunderstorm is capable of producing tornadoes from St. Anne to near Marenton to near Sheldon to near Stockland, Hoopstown moving east at about 50 miles per hour. So flying debris possible in these areas as well. So we have a lot going on right now in northwest Indiana.
Tornado warning too for Porter County. The southern part of the Lake County storm that had a tornado warning with it now has been extended into southern Porter County. So you've got two separate tornadoes here heading into Porter County. The one up around the Portage area and Chesterton area, that's the tornado we've been tracking that's confirmed. This other storm that's rolling out of southern Lake County pushing into southern parts of Porter County also has a tornado warning with it until 8:30. So several different spots here that have shown signs of rotation that have prompted additional tornado warnings. This is just the latest one, and as Cheryl was mentioning, this complex of storms back to the west heading into Newton County and Benton County. Look at the jagged edge nature of this. There are a number of probably spin-up tornadoes happening right now along the leading edge of that squall line as it moves across the state line heading into Newton and Benton counties. So we're watching all these areas very closely, going back up here into northern Porter County because that's where the confirmation of the tornado has been most prevalent and most likely confirmed still in the debris signature, showing a little bit of signs of seeing some stuff lofted up in the air right here near Chesterton. This would be pretty close to US 6, right over the toll road. US 20 as well, general spot right now where this potential tornado is still currently located. If you're in Michigan City, take your tornado precautions. I know technically you're not under the tornado warning in Michigan City just yet, but this will likely be extended into northern parts of LaPorte County. So if you're in northern LaPorte County, get ready, go to that safe room and let this storm pass on by. Has a history of producing tornadoes as it moves on through. So we're watching this cluster of tornadic thunderstorms across northwest Indiana and down to the south towards Watseka. And we're also watching the storm still moving through parts of the metro area here towards Joliet and Will County. New severe thunderstorm warning for Joliet and parts of Kendall County as well. This storm has the capability of producing about 3/4 inch size hail and potentially some winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. So we're watching a couple of spots still here across parts of, is this a new tornado warning here?
I think we're getting a new tornado. We just got a new tornado warning here for DuPage County.
We did, yes. Do you have it, Cheryl?
I do.
Go for it.
All right, here's the latest. We do have this new tornado warning issued for DuPage County. I believe we have a storm spotter on the roads right now, bringing in the very latest and telling us the potential of a tornado out there.
Looks like a debris signature there, Cheryl.
Okay, let's switch over to debris signature. But first, just to give you an idea, this is the area. So we have Wayne, Schaumburg, Bloomdale. You are included in this new warning until 8:30. Addison as well. So anyone in this vicinity, there's 55. Schaumburg, again, another highly populated area.
It's over Bartlett right now. Here in northern parts of DuPage County. This is right along the county line of DuPage County and Cook County here in the far northwestern corner of DuPage County. So there's the velocity data. You have it right there. Purple box flashing now. Switch to that debris signature, Cheryl, since they have your camera up, because you got to see it right here and it'll give us a good spot of where it is. If not, you just pull up my screen right there. There, right here. So there you go. There's 59. There's that debris signature right here with this tornado, likely on the ground here, right near the Bartlett area. It's going to hug the county line of northern DuPage County and Cook County, moving off towards the east. So if you're in Roselle, Schaumburg, take your tornado precautions right now. Bloomingdale as well. Anywhere here in the northern parts of DuPage County, and in the kind of the panhandle of Cook County here, the southern parts of our county here in Cook County, take your tornado precautions. Really dangerous situation here. There's the latest scan. Again, still showing evidence of a debris signature. We'll go to the velocity data, and it looks a little muddled. Let's go to this. Yeah, there you go. So this is another velocity product we have, and right there is where that tornado is located. Really well-defined red and greens right next to each other, moving right through northern parts of DuPage County. So this storm, along with the one that's over towards Chesterton and Portage, very, very serious. Cheryl, we talk about going to your safe room when we have tornado warnings. This is one where you absolutely need to go to that safe room and let this storm pass on by, because the evidence is there that this is a tornado on the ground in Bartlett right now.
Yeah, this is not what we want to see at this point in time. Again, if anyone is under a tornado warning, you need to take these warnings very seriously tonight. Bartlett on top of you right now, heading to the east, moving to the east at about 20 to 30 miles per hour. Hanover Park, Keeneyville here, Roselle, Schaumburg, Bloomingdale in the path of this storm. As we zoom in closer, this is right on top of Oakwood Lane, Pipers Drive, East Devon Avenue, East North Ave, Newport Boulevard, Lacey Ave, Hanover Park, Walnut Ave, Ontarioville Road, County Farm Road, and I just want to name off some of these roads as this storm will be moving in this area. If they are familiar, this is where you live. If it sounds familiar and you're in that warning, make sure you're in your safe place. West Schaumburg Road, Yorkshire Drive. Farther off to the east, we have Gary Avenue, Central Avenue, West Wise Road, Roselle out ahead of this as well. So anyone in this area, again, a confirmed tornado being reported on the ground in this region. And this is a dangerous situation with any of the storms tonight. The atmosphere is prime. They are picking up on the instability, the shear in the atmosphere. We have winds moving at different directions with height, and these storms, supercell in nature, are producing damaging tornadoes across the area this evening. We're seeing reports of damage happening where these tornadoes touch down, some of it catastrophic in location. So please, please, please get to the lowest level of your home, a basement. If you don't have a basement, lowest level away from walls and windows. If you have time, if you're far far out ahead of the center of this circulation from Schaumburg, Roselle. If you have time to get your sneakers on, get a blanket, a pillow, get in your safe spot, cover yourself to make sure you can protect yourself from any flying debris, that would be the best bet. But first and foremost, we want you to have enough time in your safe place to let this storm ride out and pass through. In the meantime, though, this is going to be about another 30 to 45 minutes of the storm rolling through this area, so we can put a track on it for you. Again, this is a highly populated area in our region. By about 7:59 right now, on top of you, Hanover Park, Schaumburg 8:03, Medina at 8:05, Itasca at 8:09, Elk Grove getting closer to you at 8:13. So this is all within the next 5 to 15 minutes. With this new warning that was just issued, it remains in effect here until 8:30 in this area. I do want to switch over to correlation coefficient, and we are still seeing a signature in this area, and you can see that debris signature right now. This is right to the east of Bartlett, including parts of Bartlett, East North Ave, East Devon Avenue. This is on top of you right now, Newport Boulevard, County Farm Road, Hanover Park. This is a dangerous situation. You need to be in your safe place. Gary Avenue, Central Ave, West Bryn Mawr Ave, Keeneyville, Roselle, please be in your safe place. You are just a few miles to the east of this right now, with the storm producing debris being lofted up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. It just goes to show the strength of the tornado on the ground right now. And then I know more information is coming in as we have multiple tornadoes on the ground, but anyone, again, in this warning here in parts of DuPage County, please, please, please stay in your safe place. Also parts of northern Cook County here. Larry.
Cheryl, also we're watching this tornado. I still have confirmation of a tornado on the ground in Hebron, Indiana, 2 miles east of I-65 and 2 miles south of Route 2. That tornado in Hebron, Indiana will move toward Malden and Couts here in the next few moments. So if you're in Malden and Couts in northwest Indiana, take your tornado precautions now. This is a tornado on the ground heading towards your direction. And of course, we're still watching the one here in northern DuPage County. This is pretty close now to Roselle, Itasca, Elk Grove Village, Schaumburg, over right along the county line towards Wooddale. Eventually towards the O'Hare Airport is where this potential tornado will track over. So I know we have our camera there in Rosemont. Let's get that up and take a peek at it just to see what we're seeing there. We're probably seeing dark skies off in the distance. It's still a little daylight left out there. But right there's the radar presentation. And again, you look at the radar presentation and you're thinking to yourself, I don't see quite the hook there, but it is embedded right in this general area right here is where this circulation is located, picked up by velocity data and indicated by the debris signature as well. Latest debris signature showing it right there, moving over towards Roselle as we speak. Hanover Park still showing the signature there. So it is still showing up on the radar with this debris signature.
I didn't know.
We're going to take a quick break here on our stream because we're going to do a cut in on ABC 7 right now. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
And good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Cheryl Scott. We just want to bring you the very latest. We have multiple tornado warnings on the map right now, and these tornado warnings that are on the map, there are evidence of confirmed tornadoes that have been touching down. So anyone in a tornado warning, please take these warnings very seriously. Get to your safe place. First, we have a tornado warning here. This encompasses the Chesterton area up towards Michigan City. If you're in this region, you need to be in your safe place with a confirmed tornado that has been on the ground close to your location here. Another confirmed location where we are finding the potential of a strong tornado from Boone over towards Couts. Again, lowest level of your home. If you're in this polygon here, there have been reports of a strong tornado on the ground doing damage in some of these regions. And you can see also for Newton and Jasper County, from Beaver down towards Kentland, Rensselaer and Carpenter, a strong line of storms here that could produce brief tornado touchdowns within this storm line that will be moving in. So if you're under this warning, be in your safe place, basement, lowest level of your home. And the newest warning that just developed here for parts of Cook and DuPage County remains in effect until 8:30. So from Bartlett over towards Schaumburg and Bloomingdale, this tornado warning in effect, where we are finding the rotation here, the possibility of a tornado on the ground, as we were finding debris being lofted into the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is on top of Schaumburg right now and will continue its way to the east, crossing over 90, Mount Prospect and Elk Grove. You are out ahead of this. We're going to continue to bring you the very latest with the rain and storms as they continue to move through this evening. As of right now, we are continuing to monitor all of these warnings closely to keep you up to date. And of course, we're also streaming on abc7chicago.com. This is video coming in from earlier this evening of Streeter, of that large wedge tornado touchdown. Destruction being reported. We have crews on the scene. Emergency personnel is also out in the field collecting all of this data. Everyone stay safe. We will continue to keep you updated. And again, we are streaming live on all of our digital platforms, and you can find us abc7chicago.com.
We got a new tornado warning for central and southern DuPage County. This includes the southern parts of Naperville, over towards Downers Grove, pushing over towards the Westmont area, up towards Elmhurst. You see the red box right here. No hook echo within here, but there is a really well-defined velocity signature showing up right now just over southern parts of Naperville. Let me take you real close here into the map. We'll go down to street level and show you between Lisle and Naperville. Just to the south here is where this circulation is located. So here's Ogden Avenue, here's I-88. Just south of Ogden Avenue is where this circulation is located that has prompted this tornado warning. So if you're in the southern parts of Naperville, especially in Lisle right now along Maple Avenue, this is Maple Avenue right here. This is where that tornado is located, and it's moving off towards the east here. There's 53. So Lisle over towards Downers Grove. Eventually the storm will be passing into your area, crossing over I-35. So this is a very serious situation here for this part of DuPage County. Let me go to the debris signature because we've been tracking for debris. Not showing debris with this particular storm, which is a good sign, but there's a lot of velocity rotation being picked up with that storm, which indicates the possibility of a tornado developing really at any moment. And Cheryl, we're watching the other part of northern DuPage County. That tornado warning has been tightened down to just now include Cook County, but there is still the potential here of a tornado right over Schaumburg, just north of Roselle, lifting off towards the east, towards I-290 right now, and over towards the I-90 split as well. So these couple of spots, they've just developed really rapidly here in our part of Illinois. We've been watching the storms in Indiana very closely, where we still have tornado warnings in effect. If I had to give
and
you a
Larry,
count,
that storm that's blowing up in northwest Indiana right now, there is a large debris signature coming in, a very strong velocity. This warning right now is very close to Boone, and it is approaching Couts. This is likely, again, a large tornado on the ground. This warning remains in effect until 8:30. And at 8:05, there was a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado located near Boone Grove, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So again, this is another region where we're finding a very strong tornado on the ground. Larry has the debris signature up, so that's all verifying. So east of this signature, Couts up towards Malden or Madden, I believe. Maiden, 5 Points Corner up towards off to the east a little bit more. Right along there is Route 8. So
it looks like Couts is going to take a direct hit from this one.
Direct hit, and this is basically just to the east. Aylesworth, this is on top of you right now. Boone Grove, you're probably hearing and feeling some of the effects of this as well, as this is producing extremely strong winds, some strong rotation being noted here. Weekend velocity too, Larry, some of this wind within this storm. I mean, we're seeing winds at least up to 70 miles per hour, but likely with those winds circulating within the supercell, and we're seeing that debris signature come in with this storm. That's evident that we're seeing seeing very strong winds to lift debris up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. That takes a lot of force, that takes a lot of wind speed, and likely more destruction that's going to be coming out of this area. So again, if you're in this warned tornado zone, need to be in your safe place, basement, lowest level of your home.
You can see it on the reflectivity too. There's like a donut hole right here where that circulation is.
And Newton County is reporting a large tornado right now.
Yeah, this is the storm that's to the south here across parts of Newton County. Right there at 600 South and 41 is where that is being reported right now, which is down here into parts of Newton County. Let me see if I can spot that on the radar. Large tornado being reported in this area. Don't see it on the debris signature. That could be down towards the Kentland area as well. So large tornado there in Newton County, large tornado in southern Porter County, tornado that went through Bartlett may potentially still be on the ground, and tornado still in effect for southern parts of DuPage County right now. Let's go back to the southern parts of DuPage County, look at the velocity data here. Not as quite as tight as it was. Let me switch products. Right over Lisle right now is where this potential tornado would be located. So from Lisle, stretching right over Ogden right now, this will be eventually heading towards Yorktown, right along the I-88 corridor here and the Ogden Avenue corridor as well. We'll see how this kind of plays out, but this is the general area from Lombard to Lisle to Downers Grove. You're in this tornado warning, so you need to be in your safe room at this time and let this storm pass on by. It's until what, 8:30?
8:30.
Yeah.
For DuPage, so Woodridge, Downers Grove, Naperville. Again, Larry, this is we're also approaching that hour of the day where we're losing that daylight sunset. It's getting dark out there. This is not the time you want to step outside, see what's going on. If you're in this warned zone, make sure you get to your safe place. This is a highly populated area. We have friends, we have family, we all know someone who lives in the Naperville, Downers Grove, Woodridge area. So please take this warning seriously. We are seeing confirmed rotation on radar out of this. And as Larry was mentioning, talking about who's in the path of this right now, that rotation on top of Lisle, there's 355, there's I-88. So Downers Grove, this is heading right for you. We're getting an update here, I believe, no, that would be the severe thunderstorm warning just off to the south. But anyone in this region, Lisle, Woodridge, Downers Grove, there we have Belmont Road, Maple Ave, Westmont as well in the path of this, Oakbrook Terrace to Willowbrook. So this is a highly populated area. It's also a large zone. And at any point in time, we could potentially see a tornado touchdown in this region.
And the somewhat good news is the tornado warning that was in effect for northern DuPage County and parts of Cook County has expired and canceled. So that storm that produced the tornado over Bartlett has weakened enough to drop the warning. We have severe thunderstorm warning for basically all of Cook County, including the city, as these storms push in that general direction. But there's the red triangle outline of the tornado warning for DuPage County. And as we've been mentioning, it's right over Lisle right now. We're watching that circulation, and I'll go back in to velocity data and show you right along Lisle heading to the Downers Grove area. This will likely impact more from downtown Downers to the north side of Downers. You're going to get some very high wind with this storm as it comes on through, but it does look like the greatest circulation potential where there's a potential tornado will probably be tracking along the Ogden Avenue corridor and likely north of that as well. So that's the spot we're watching for this circulation. We'll just check the debris signature. Nothing stands out to me and says, bam, there's a tornado on the ground, but there's certainly something happening here with that rotation being picked up by velocity data. So we're keeping our eyes there in DuPage County. New severe thunderstorm warning for Will County as well. The storm is right over Joliet right now as the storm comes across with winds potentially up to 60 miles per hour. And then, of course, the storms over here in southern parts of Porter County and now pushing into LaPorte County. This storm here that's just moved through the Couts area, or just about over Couts. Look at that signature. You see the donut hole? That's the sign that this storm is producing a tornado, because the rotation is going all the way up into the sky, and we're seeing the hole that's being created in the thunderstorm from where that tornado is located. I'll switch to the debris signature, and there it is right there, right over just north of Couts. Couts is right behind that banner there. I'll move the map up a little bit so you can see it. There's Couts, there's Malden as well. That's where that tornado is, basically over top of Couts right now, lifting off towards the east. So Wanata, take your tornado precautions right now here along US 30. If you're south of Valparaiso, Aberdeen is one of the golf courses and communities in this area. This will be very close to you as it tracks just to the east and just south of Valparaiso. And you got a new tornado warning here now for parts of Jasper County. Let me zoom back out because they're just hitting us left and right now, Cheryl. With
they
all these
really
tornado
are.
warnings.
As we're covering one, a new one is being issued. And there was one out ahead of that one that is occurring and ongoing in Couts right now. Anyone to the east in LaPorte and Stark, this has been issued out ahead of it until 9:15. That is a storm producing a tornado. So anyone in this warn zone, again, this is a dangerous situation this evening. So we have a new tornado warning that was just issued here. For parts of almost all of our counties. Let me just take these tags off, and there you can see it lighting up. So this is far Lake Porter counties and then far northern Newton and Jasper counties. So anyone from Lake Village towards DeMont and Wheatfield in the path of this storm. And this is where we're finding a line of rain and storms moving in at this point in time. So as we widen this out and take a look a little bit closer, they just had to warn on the northern edge of this line because this line here, this basically a bit of a squall line that's moving through, a lot of lightning, intense rain, but we have all of these inflow notches along this line, and this has the possibility of forming those brief spin-up tornadoes on the leading edge. So that's why we have bigger areas here encompassing this line of storms, because at any point in time, this part of the storm system could drop a tornado. So rotating thunderstorms here within this line of storms that will be also producing some very high winds, upwards of 60 miles per hour. So dangerous storm here with these tornado warnings in place. Please keep this in mind and stay in your safe place. A little bit different from the situation that is ongoing right now in Couts. This is where we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is lofting debris into the air between Malden and Couts right now, crossing over 49. This will continue off to the east. There's 421 out ahead of this. So from Dewey over towards Hannah, a little bit farther off towards the east, Union Mills, Kingsford Heights, heads up, this is heading in your direction. We have a lot of dangerous storms on the map right now. Still a ways to go until they're out of here. Tornado warning still in parts of DuPage, Downers Grove, Naperville, Elmhurst, but also with this line of storms where we have a severe thunderstorm warning here for Cook, DuPage, and Will until 8:45. One of the biggest takeaways from this line will be winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. It's been fairly quiet in the city this afternoon and evening, but this line is now approaching. You can see that bowing here as well into parts of central Cook County. This is going to kick up some very strong winds, likely hitting areas that were hit hard yesterday with the wind damage. Winds up to 60, 70, up to 70 plus mile per hour winds, not out of the question. So this is a tornado warning is coming for Cook County. Okay. So we have a new tornado that is just about to come in for Cook County along south of I-290. This is going to continue to work its way to the east out of the system that we already are seeing that tornado warning. So we're going to watch for that to come in. But as of right now, anyone in this DuPage warned zone, this is until 8:30. So Westmont, Oak Park, you're out to the east of this. Still Naperville, it's just passing to the east of you now. So we are getting some relief with that storm system. These are moving a bit quicker now as well, Larry, if you can notice that, because these warnings are popping up. And there's that new warning that is just coming in. This does include the city of Chicago and downtown Chicago. And this warning is until 8:45. And this is for that line, Larry, that's bowing out here a bit. So some very strong winds in excess of 60, 70 miles per hour, but also the possibility for this line to drop a tornado, a brief spin-up tornado in our area.
So here's the outline on the map. I'll take off the radar image here to show you what's happening with this storm as it's moving across our area. So from the city to the south side, down into the southern parts of Cook County, that's the tornado warning area. Right now, this storm that's coming out of DuPage County and out of Will County is capable of producing spin-up tornadoes as it moves through. This is not quite the same situation where we had the large tornadoes that came through parts of our viewing area. This would be still some very strong tornadoes possibly embedded within this system. And I'll switch over to the velocity data, and you see these bright shades of red showing up on the map. map, crossing right over parts of DuPage County into Cook County right now. That's pretty close to Burr Ridge. So if you're in Burr Ridge, very high winds picking up with potential tornadoes right now, and also up here across parts of LaGrange over towards LaGrange Park, Country Club Hills. This is the zone right now where there's the potential for a tornado developing and moving very quickly off towards the east. If you're in parts of DuPage County, if you're still in parts of, say, Hinsdale, Westmont, Clarendon Hills, Darien, still the threat of a tornado in this zone as well as it's tracking overhead, along with some very high winds, potentially 70+ mile-per-hour winds, a possibility with this storm. Let me go back in just a few frames here because I want to analyze what's happening. Look how the winds have picked up real rapidly within this cluster of storms. So very, very, very high wind threat with this storm complex coming through Cook County right now and parts of DuPage County. And within that high wind threat, there's the chance of some tornadoes spinning up. We'll switch to the debris signature mode. Nothing stands out at me and says, bam, there it is, but still nonetheless, there's possibly debris being lofted up into the air. And as we look at this on the reflectivity data, I'll just put it in motion. You can see how this is bowing out. So this is becoming more of a bow signature. There's a curvature right here, right over Worth, and now heading through the Eisenhower. And here's the Eisenhower, here's the Stevenson. This is tracking right into the city. We have one of our cameras up right now from downtown pointed towards the west. If we have that up, Allison or Greg, just pop that up right over top of me. So this is our shed camera looking towards the west. The skies are obviously ominous. We're losing daylight at this point, but keep an eye on that as that storm closes in on the city. I want to see what that looks like as this moves into the city right now, as this storm passes right over the city over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. But look how rapidly now this is accelerating off towards the east with that bowing feature right over the city right now, moving over Oak Park, Cicero. You're getting in the thick of it at this point and pushing off towards the east at this point. So still the tornado warning for DuPage County and this tornado warning for Cook County continues, along with a number of severe thunderstorm warnings for the northern parts of Cook County and to the south. And of course, the number of tornado warnings we still have in effect for Northwest Indiana. Cheryl?
Yep, we are continuing to monitor this situation as we go into the next 20 to 30 minutes. This is going to continue to head to the east from Chicago to the south. Larry was talking about the bowing here right on top of Worth up towards LaGrange. Very heavy rain here, very high winds can be expected, but this tornado warning for Cook County remains in effect for the next 20-25 minutes. So we have to monitor the situation closely. If you are in this warned zone, please just take precautions, get to your safe spot, get to the lowest level of your home. If you're in a high rise as this gets closer to Chicago, a lot of people ask, what should I do? You'd want to get to the lowest level and away from any windows best you can. You want much room between yourself and the outside walls and windows. So in an interior room or a stairwell would be a great spot on the lowest level. So this is the newest information coming in
Cheryl,
with this storm.
Look at this on velocity data right now, because this ball of wind is now moving through parts of Cook County right over Midway as we speak. And just pixel querying some of the data, we're getting 60, 70, 80 mile-per-hour winds possible within this cluster of storms. And also the threat of embedded tornadoes right here within this ball of high winds marching its way from Midway to Cicero to Burbank, off towards Englewood, over towards the south side as well, Evergreen Park. You're in the heaviest winds in just a few moments as this tracks right through parts of Cook County. So Bedford Park, Burbank, Oak Lawn, Evergreen Park, and then over towards 55th Street, really between about the Eisenhower all the way down towards about 103rd or so would be the core of these high winds coming on through right now from Englewood back to the west, and right over this spot where the radar is really showing the intensity of the winds with this storm blowing on through. And where you see the jagged edges here with that leading edge of the thunderstorm complex, that's where there could be spin-up tornadoes. So winds to 70+ miles per hour with brief spin-up tornadoes possible as this complex comes on through. Going back to that reflectivity mode, there you go. You see the notches that have developed here on the leading edge of the storm. All of these little notches could pose tornado threats from Cicero to Midway to Evergreen Park, all the way down to the south as well as this marches off towards the east. So this is look at that picture. Take that full for a second. Let's just take a peek at that, because That's the shelf cloud coming into the city. So that's the
Approaching
leading
the
edge.
city, yep.
That's the leading edge of the storm complex heading in. That's the leading edge of the high winds. So once that shelf cloud passes overhead, these winds are going to pick up dramatically here in the city.
And this is a similar situation to yesterday. These are more straight line winds in excess of 60, 70 plus miles per hour. We have velocity clocked on our radar up to 72. So Larry, it's possible that these wind gusts are reaching even higher, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. We're talking hurricane force winds as this storm moves over the city. This is another vantage point here where you can see the city and the sky at play right now. So ominous, so dark, intense rain, and those winds are really going to pick up in intensity as this slides to the east. So regardless if we're seeing, a brief spin up tornado, this line is going to do some damage with just how high the winds are with it. And there you go. You're clocking it right now, and you're seeing
100
some
mile per hour winds right now. 100 mile per hour winds being sampled by the radar heading into the south side of the city at this point. So there it is on the radar. I sampled right here, 100 mile per hour winds. That's what the measurement of the wind speed the radar is detecting right now over Bridgeview, near Midway as well, and heading off towards the east. Do we have our Midway camera? I don't know if we have that available or not as well, but nonetheless, right here, we're getting these very extreme high winds, upwards of 100 miles per hour, moving through the southern part of the city and southern parts of Cook County at this time. Okay, we're working on getting that camera pulled up. This thing has really accelerated quickly as it came through, Cheryl. There's Midway camera. So we'll just keep our eyes on that one for a few moments. You see all the lightning. Camera's bouncing around a little bit. We'll see if the winds pick up from our camera perspective here. It's mounted pretty firmly, but it certainly will bounce around as those winds increase.
Yeah, I mean, Midway, Burbank, Englewood, Evergreen Park. This is going to be blasting into your area within the next couple of minutes. Burnside, straight to the lakefront. The worst of it will be passing just to the south of the city. Cicero, you're just up to the north of it. We're finding the highest concentrated wind speeds up to 70 to 100 miles per hour is anywhere from Midway right now, Burbank, Oak Lawn, and Evergreen Park, Englewood, West 76th Street, Hometown 79th Street, South Damon Avenue. And then this is going to be getting very close to I-90, I-94, and I-57, and then approaching the lakefront. Extremely, extremely high winds in excess of 80 miles per hour is possible as this line pushes through. Is this our Midway camera coming in for you right now? Is this O'Hare? That was O'Hare. Here's another, this is Midway coming in. We're really going to see these winds, if we get a good vantage point and shot, pick up in intensity. They're in the thick of it right now, and you can kind of just see the lack of visibility here, and almost that rain coming down sideways. If you look closely, the lightning flashes being detected there. We're seeing some shaking in the camera view as well. It's hard to see any objects because it's a bit dark at this point in time, but the strong winds are hitting Midway right now. Ground stop in effect. It's a dangerous storm moving through with very strong winds.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a storm like this. I have to think of the derecho we had a couple August ago where we had high winds like this, but this is even stronger than that, it looks like.
That was several years ago.
Yeah, it was during COVID, I believe. I think it was 2020, I think was that year.
Okay, here's a good view of the city as the storm approaches and gets closer.
The severe thunderstorm warning has been extended into Lake County, Indiana as well, as this storm will eventually cross the state line for 80 mile per hour winds. So looking at it on radar here, we got it pulled up on radar. There's the radar presentation. It's bowing out. It's got this curvature to it, which is an indication of some very high winds within the storm itself. And then when we switch over to velocity data, that's where we really get a nice measurement of the wind speeds. And just to highlight even now, just on the south side of the city, right down the Dan Ryan, right over Englewood, is where some of these higher wind gusts are located. That's a gust to 82. That's 69. Here's 77. There's 77 over Evergreen Park. 70 plus mile per hour winds. I did sample a 100 mile per hour wind gust a few moments ago. Now it's 82 miles per hour in Englewood. So this whole corridor moving right over the Dan Ryan and the Skyway right now is where these winds are extreme, upwards of 70 plus to 80 miles per hour as this complex is coming through. And in addition, there's the concern for spin up tornadoes, and that can enhance the winds upwards of 100 plus miles per hour. Wherever you get a quick spin up tornado, it heightens the wind speeds in a very small area and can do more damage. This is that storm coming through Cook County. I'll widen the view a little bit because we are still tracking the storms. We have the tornado warnings for LaPorte County, tornado warnings for Newton and Jasper counties. That storm is starting to push away from Newton County at least, but for Jasper County and parts of LaPorte County, you're still under the tornado warning. This storm that's now moving through Chicago, this will be the last storm for us this evening because behind it, skies are starting to clear up and the cold front is pushing through. So once we get past this storm, Cheryl, we'll be done with the stormy weather for the rest of the night.
Yes, and that is some good news, and we need to get out of this because we have just seen so many intense storms move through the area. I mean, this has been for several hours, Larry. We've been talking since I think, well, you started at 4 and then we started live coverage between about 5 and 6 o'clock, and still at this hour, 8:30, we have the intense line of rain and storms, and every section is warned. But at this point in time, right now, we're finding the worst of it moving through parts of Cook County from Chicago to the south, I-94, with the tornado warning remaining in effect here until 8:45. So hunker down. This is moving quickly, racing to the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So this is going to rush on through, but likely bring down trees, more power outages. So many already dealing with power outages from yesterday. So we're adding a little bit more insult to injury with these storms out there today. Just to the south here from Worth, now pushing to the east, Harvey, Stony Island, Burnham, you're out ahead of this. Blue Island winds really about to pick up for you. Crestwood, you're in the thick of this. Marionette Park, Evergreen Park, Dixmoor and Harvey, this area of I-57 here, Midlothian, you're in the path of this line, and you can see how quickly that latest scan pushing the rain and storms even farther to the east. Also, in a lot of lightning. We've been showing you some live shots, but you can see that lightning associated with this as well. So a very noisy, busy, active night right now from Chicago to the south. Also why they postponed that Mumford and Sons concert at Wrigley Field right now, because we have the severe weather moving through. They are set to start that at 10 o'clock. So we have to wait for this storm system to move on out, but still have tornado warnings for parts of Newton, Jasper counties here. The worst of it now really parts of Jasper County, Wheatfield, down towards Rensselaer into the east of I-65. And Larry, good news is that the worst of it really is passing to the east of Rensselaer, and it is running along that boundary and almost to the east of our main viewing area. So we are in the final stretch of these strong to severe storms. We still do have a tornado warning up to the north here, and you can see this one still just really intense rains coming down. It remains in effect until 9:15 for parts of north central Stark as well as LaPorte counties. As this storm has had a history of rotation and producing tornadoes. But the worst of it right now, I don't know if we know of any, if you guys can see in the control room, any videos or live shots that we have of the Chicago area, of the heavy intense rain, the lightning, and the intense winds moving through right now with this tornado warning in effect. So the leading edge of this is now passing the city. So that brings down the tornado threat, but still those high winds. So this is our shed camera, and we use this a lot. Typically, you can see the skyline in the background, and you cannot see absolutely anything right now. It's almost like the entire city lost power. That's not the case. It's just that we are seeing the intense rain and just how dark and ominous it got out there this evening. So,
and Cheryl, I'm going to ask too if we have our Illinois Tech camera, because it looks like the higher winds are on the south side and even probably a little bit farther than Illinois Tech and the rate. But if we have that camera position as well, I'd like to see that view. Is that it? That's it? Okay. It's bouncing around a little bit. I was looking at the velocity data, and the core of the winds are right over the Dan Ryan right now, down towards I-57 is where these high winds are at their peak according to the radar. You can see that camera's bouncing around quite a bit right now, and look at all that lightning, Cheryl. It's a tremendous lightning show right now with a high wind threat, and still the tornado warning until 8:45.
I mean, it looks like we are in the middle of the night right now with just like how dark and ominous it is out there. Obviously, you can see the highway there, a lot of cars traveling, but it is certainly windy with that camera shake, the intense rain coming down and reducing that visibility. We are in the thick of it right now for Cook County from Chicago to the south, and the most intense part of this line, as Larry was mentioning, is a little bit farther to the south now, really impacting the Blue Island area and then impacting I-57, Kensington, Dalton. The worst of the weather is about to pick up in intensity for you in terms of heavy rain as well as those high winds. So hunker down with us for the next 15 minutes as this continues to move through. It is moving rather quickly as we put this into motion. You can see just over the last hour how much ground this part of the storm has taken right through parts of DuPage, Naperville, Westmont, Bolingbrook, Lockport, crossing over 355, I-55, and now from Chicago just to the south. And we'll have to watch out for Chicago Heights and Frankfurt area. You're on the tail end of this, so still some intense storms that will be moving through your area. I know you're not in the tornado warning, but we just want to let you know, heads up, Tinley Park here just to the south and approaching Lansing in the next 15-20 minutes. This will impact your region with some strong gusty winds upwards of 60-70 miles per hour, a lot of lightning, intense rain. The leading edge though, Larry, new tornado warning just was issued as we were just looking at that area.
They shrunk it down there.
So here's the very latest coming in, a new tornado warning issued for parts of Cook County. Let's zoom in. We have one little corner here left of this storm in this area.
The other one away and just replaced it with this smaller version.
So they chopped it down, and this does remain in effect until 8:45. So we have 10 more minutes, and then we'll have to watch out for parts of Northwest Indiana and Lake County, for East Chicago and Hammond as this moves through. But Larry, wanted to say we still have the leading edge right here, but the leading edge in terms of Chicago downtown is now well off to the east and out over Lake Michigan. So that really brings down that tornado threat. Now we're on the backside of this. So we're getting in on heavy rain, ponding on area roads, torrential rain still coming down, the lightning, that tornado threat going down though with that tornado watch box that was just clipped. So Chicago no longer in the tornado warning. That is great news. We just have a little sliver left, and we have again a little sliver left for parts of Northwest Indiana here for Jasper County, from DeMont stretching down towards White Post, the far eastern edge here of this area of this storm system moving to the east. Sorry, these AccuWeather alerts coming in on the phone with more tornado warnings.
I will say what's happening with this complex of storms on the south side in southern Cook County is it's becoming more like a squall line. So we're seeing intense winds along the leading edge of this thunderstorm complex, and still the possibility of some brief spin-ups. You can see some jagged edges here from Harvey back towards the state line, towards the Hammond area. So still the possibility of some brief spin-up tornadoes. That's why the tornado warning was really shaved down and covers just a smaller area until 8:45. But the severe thunderstorm warning covers now for the southern parts of Cook County. The city's been taken out of the warning. No warning right now for the city. At this point, it's southern Cook County and Northwest Indiana. And I tell you, I'm a little concerned about this complex of storms rolling back into Lake County, because this is going to go over the same areas that had the damage from St. John to Merrillville to Hobart as well, where we had that likely tornado on the ground. You're going to get hit again with some really high winds as this last gasp of the storm complex comes on through. That's how it looks on velocity data. Let me switch over to the reflectivity mode, and there it is, this line of storms marching off towards the east, heading back into Northwest Indiana, where we've already had some likely damage reported from earlier tornadoes. This complex of storms will be pushing through really rapidly at about 50 miles per hour. So I'll just do a track on the leading edge of this storm, and we'll track it as it moves into Northwest Indiana and give you some updated timing here. as it moves towards Merrillville and Gary and Hobart as well. So we're talking Gary here at about 8:45, Hobart at 8:54, Valparaiso at 9:08, and then New Durham around 9:12 or so. So that would include the Merrillville area around 9:45 or so, 9:50 potentially, Hobart around 9:54 is when you're going to get hit again with some really high winds as this storm continues to drift through your area. So this will be the last of the storms for you, but this could be another hit of some really high winds as it moves on through. The other thing that's happening is with that complex of storms down towards Rensselaer, it's pushing off to the east, and the storms are still ongoing here in LaPorte County, where we still have a tornado warning in effect for the Hanna area and near this just south of the town of LaPorte as well is where this tornado warning is in effect here for LaPorte County. That's pushing off towards Kankakee in Indiana and South Bend, Indiana as well. But Cheryl, the squall line that's made its presence known here across the city is accelerating off towards the east, and that's really the cold front that's pushing through right now. And behind that front, as we mentioned, it's quiet back to the west.
Yep, and we just got to get through that. We have trying skies behind the complex of storms that's rolling through the city right now. In addition to the tornado warnings that we've been covering, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings for Lake and Porter counties until about 9:45. So we're not out of the woods just yet. We still do have to watch the southern edge of this storm system that's going to be working its way into Lake County right along I-90. So those winds picking up in intensity upwards of 60, 70 miles per hour, the torrential rainfall, and we do have to watch out for the possibility of some brief spin-up tornadoes as this line works its way through parts of Lake and Porter County. So that remains in effect. These warnings here in Lake County until 9, Porter County until 9:45. Also, we still do have a few tornado warnings on the map off to the east here in northwest Indiana. We are almost out of the woods on these until 8:45, but they're outrunning that warning. So really that warning going down considerably at this point in time in Jasper County, and we don't have any confirmed tornadoes in this area. Where we are seeing that big tornado threat is just up to the north here for parts of LaPorte and Stark, right on top of Hanna and Kingston Heights is where we would be watching for the possibility of this tornado ongoing in this area. And that's where we also are still finding that tight couplet of reds next towards greens, and this is approaching Kingsford Heights. So anyone in this area, definitely the possibility here of a tornado on the ground still at this point in time, with the warning that will remain in place for a bit longer, as this is where we're finding likely the worst circulation on our radar right now, just to the east of Porter County. But we are beginning to see things race to the east, and a large part of our area is beginning to dry out behind this line. But look at all of that lightning right now on top of the city. That is just really impressive. What a light show, especially coming off of yesterday. We're looking at lightning in terms of strikes, upwards of 1,000 being reported right now in and around the Chicago area. So an impressive storm system that we've been dealing this evening. So dynamic and so much instability at play. We were concerned forecasting for this event and noticing the instability to work with as this system moved in. And what unfortunately happened is what we were forecasting, with the threat of extreme winds and also tornadoes. And we've been covering it all night. The images coming in, the destruction, Larry, it's just been an ominous, almost scary evening.
Yeah.
We've seen multiple tornadoes touch down with debris signatures, confirmations of a debris being lofted into the air. And we're just thinking about all those impacted in our area right now. And especially with the rain still coming down at this point in time, it's just been a bit of a sad night as well.
Absolutely, and what we've seen is just devastating for many areas with these tornadoes that have touched down and caused damage. Here's a loop of the radar for the past 4 hours. And you can see these storm complexes just move through the area. We had the supercell thunderstorms down here in our southwestern counties, and then eventually the south suburbs and northwest Indiana is where these supercells tracked. And now we have this line of storms associated with the cold front, which started in the northwestern suburbs, now sweeping through the city and producing those high winds through the city, the southern parts of Cook County, and now moving back into northwest Indiana is where those high winds are now poised to move back into. To the south, down towards Kankakee, we still have some rain coming down, but the warnings we have at the moment are just reflected right here. We've got the severe thunderstorm warnings for northwest Indiana, southern Cook County, a small sliver here of Will County still, and there's that one small tornado warning until 8:45. So another 3 minutes with that. That will be allowed to expire. And then the tornado warnings continue for LaPorte County and then a southern part of Porter County. But as Cheryl was mentioning, these tornado warnings to the south are kind of a moot point, you might say, because it looks like the storms have moved primarily east of it. There might still be some gusty winds here, but the tornado threat around DeMont has weakened. At this point, Cheryl, I would say the only concern for a tornado is in LaPorte County, pushing off to the east. Outside of that, it's high winds and maybe a brief spin-up tornado moving into northwest Indiana and southern Cook County right now.
Yeah, right around the East Chicago area. This is where we're fighting the most intense winds at this point in time, so up to about 70, 80 miles per hour as this comes racing in your direction from Burnham to East Chicago, Whiting, Indiana. Very intense winds with this line, but not as intense as it was as it moved through parts of Naperville as well as downtown Chicago. You can see from Larry as we stand side by side, he has the reflectivity up, I have the velocity, and the reflectivity, we're not seeing it as bright nor as strong as it was just about 10 to 15 minutes ago, which is a good sign, but you can't let your guard down. Still need to stay indoors in your safe place. Let this move past, and then those winds will start to subside on the backside of this line of storms. But it has just been a busy evening, and to put it all into motion, there you can see this line as it continues to move farther to the east, out and away from us. I would gather in the National Weather Service here over the next couple of minutes will let these tornado warnings expire in northwest Indiana. The worst of those storms are now to the east of those warned boxes. It's over towards the east of Valpo where we have the worst storm that we're finding in terms of rotation, and still the possibility here of an observed confirmed tornado on the ground around Union Mills and Kingsford Heights, right around Kingsbury here. So anyone in this warned area, please keep in mind there is a dangerous storm moving through. The possibility of this storm continuing on the ground with the tornado warning in effect until 9:15.
And the last of the tornado warnings are being canceled for our viewing area, except for LaPorte County. So outside of LaPorte County, there are no more tornado warnings in effect for Illinois or northwest Indiana. Again, outside of LaPorte County, where we still have a tornado warning in effect.
Yeah, that is great news. So we have to get through here, LaPorte County and Stark County. You're also included in this, the far northwest corner there. But there was a confirmed and large dangerous tornado that was located in this area on top of Wanata and moving to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. We can clearly see where this tornado is right now on top of Wellsboro, Kingsbury, Kingsford Heights, moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So not moving as quickly as that squall line, but let's track this for you. So Union Center at about 8:49 and Hamlet getting closer to you at 8:53. So this is a dangerous part of the storm that we continue to monitor here with the tornado warning, observed tornado, confirmed tornado in this region, intense rainfall as well. Also extremely high winds. So a dangerous situation across a large portion of northwest Indiana this evening. Don't take this situation lightly. If you are in this area, you need to be lowest level of your home, away from walls.
Cheryl and Larry, you mentioned northwest Indiana where you're still watching, and we had followed one of those storms move over Hebron, Indiana, and I just wanted to let you guys know we're getting some video in here. First time I'm watching it with you, so Larry and Cheryl, that does look like a tornado on the ground here in Hebron. This was that storm warned storm that you two were talking about. This was not long ago, obviously still daylight, but this is our first video from Hebron that appears to show a tornado on the ground.
And also,
we want to show you this. Okay, so we'll pivot to this. Eric Hong and our crew in Streeter, where there are reports of rescues from state police, gas leaks, and first responders as well there. Eric Hong has talked to some survivors because that's what they did. They heeded the warnings of their phones and the sirens, watching TV as well. And one woman talked to us about how she went in her bathroom and it hit, describing it as that classic train. She looked up and there was daylight. Her roof was gone, her home was gone. And so you can see people there embracing as they assess the damage. There have been a few rescues there, we're told. You can see some of these homes just obliterated by a confirmed tornado in Streator. We've seen video and photographs of that, and now we're assessing the damage as sun sets here. There's that video that we were talking about in Streator. Larry, you were looking at this as a confirmed tornado, and there was some corkscrewing going on too with this storm, as several funnel clouds at least one confirmed tornado on the ground in Streator that has done significant damage to a neighborhood there. This is also still Streator, so we're getting a couple angles of this now from people who were outside when this storm came through. Unclear if this is the same twister that you just saw in the other video. It does look like it, but we're trying to assess how bad the damage was and whether this tornado continued to grow as it went to that neighborhood and caused significant damage. First responders urging people, especially south Streator, people stay away from there if you can. Streator Village Hall, City Hall, that is where the family reunification is. So if you have loved ones, you're wondering about them, or you just want to check on them, that would be the place that you should probably go and avoid where first responders are assessing damage in Streator. Larry and Cheryl, though, I know we're not done here, and you're tracking more severe weather now in northwest Indiana.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too, Rob, some of the damage video that I've seen out of the Streator area would likely be an EF2 to EF3 tornado from what I've seen, which would put the winds at about 135 miles per hour or even greater. From that tornado in the Streator area. Of course, the Weather Service will go out tomorrow and assess the damage. I've got the larger perspective, and look at this derecho that's developing here right over top of us and surging through northern Indiana. This will continue to track towards Ohio as we go into the overnight hours, but we're starting to get under the back edge of the system. And Cheryl, you've got the close-up radar because we're still watching the severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of Lake and Porter County, and still that tornado warning for LaPorte County as well.
Yes, and just it's really impressive watching what you're showing and just how impressive this storm system has been this evening.
Well, look at this, it goes all the way to Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle.
And how many miles of ground this is covering. And not only that, Larry, this is going to keep going into the overnight hours and impact so many people with more high winds as it turns into a more of a straight line wind derecho event. But we're going to continue to watch this evolve as we go into the overnight. Unfortunately, an extreme storm system moving through the area this evening. I can say is that we are getting on the backside of this, and things will start to improve in terms of the winds as well as the tornado threat. We still have a few warnings up across the map right now, mostly in the severe thunderstorm warning south of the city into parts of Lake and Porter counties, and then the tornado warning that's been issued for LaPorte County. So this is that one area where we're still finding some very strong heavy rain and also rotation. We have the tornado warning up. And Kingsford Heights, you're right in the thick of this. And then just to the east of Kankakee, won't be surprised if this warning is extended a bit farther to the east because it's had a history of rotation, very evident on velocity as well, as we've been watching this storm very closely over the past couple of hours. I'm going to switch over to velocity, still finding that couplet in the corner of this storm here from Kingsford Heights, Kingsbury, Union Center. This is approaching Hamlet and Kankakee just to the east here. So waiting to see if an additional tornado warning is issued. Won't be surprised if that pops up anytime really imminent with the signature that we're finding in that area. Let's switch over to correlation coefficient, and still, it's a little bit muddled, nothing too defined, but the possibility here of some debris in this region not out of the question. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect across parts of southern Cook County and northwest Indiana as we go into the evening here. So for those of you in southern Cook County around Lansing until 9 p.m. and then Jasper, Lake and Porter counties until 9:45. There is the potential, though, that these are lifted a bit early because these storms that are moving through the line, they are really moving quickly. And the worst of it, honestly, is moving to the east of Lake and Porter counties. The worst of it is now over Lake Michigan and then the far corner here of LaPorte County. Just to the north there of Stark County. So continuing to monitor the situation closely. I can say that we are or we have really gotten through the worst of it, Larry.
Yeah, and especially in terms of any tornado threat for our immediate area outside of LaPorte County, the tornado threat is waning. And just looking at the reflectivity data, well, first off, here's the outline of where we still have severe thunderstorm warnings. Technically still in effect here for southern Cook County until 9 o'clock or so. The worst of the storm is starting to pull away from Cook County, but northern Lake County, all of the southern part and central part of Lake County, Porter County, parts of Jasper County still under the severe thunderstorm warning. When I switch over to the reflectivity mode, look at that. I mean, it's really weakened here. The storm that blew through the city is primarily out over the lake. Still the potential for some gusty winds here, but nothing that would likely reach severe limits as this moves over towards the Gary area. There is a little line of storms from Valparaiso southward that still could produce some gusty winds, but that's moving off to the east. So outside of our storm in LaPorte County, as you mentioned, Cheryl, things are calming down. We just have to get through about another hour or so of some storms across parts of northwest Indiana and down towards Piatone and Kankakee County. You're going to be in some rain for a little bit longer. But back to the west, the rain has ended. The worst is over. From the city back to the west and back to the south and west too, it's over. This is it. This is the last gasp of these storms coming on through, and they'll continue to track towards the east. But overall, our severe weather threats in our immediate area are going down outside of that storm in LaPorte County, where we still have the tornado warning in effect. And as you've been tracking it, it's starting to pull towards Kingsford Heights and over towards Kingsbury and over towards Stillwell. Just on the south side of LaPorte right now. If you're in that area, I would be taking my tornado precautions at this time too and letting this storm pass on by. It's going to move over into St. Joseph County here in a little bit as it tracks off towards the east. Cheryl, these storm reports we've seen, and let me throw the storm reports on here, see if any have popped up across the area, because yeah, look at all the tornado reports. These supercell storms that developed down to our south and west in Livingston County and back to the west. These are all the tornado reports we've seen so far today. A number of tornado reports being reported across northwest Indiana, south of I-80. Haven't got a tornado report officially from the Bartlett area, but there was probably the potential for a tornado touching down there. We'll see if we get any damage reports out of the Bartlett area. Rob, have you seen anything out of Bartlett?
No, we haven't seen anything out of Bartlett just yet. Not seeing any. Oh, hold on. They're telling me Bartlett Fire says structure damage near Route 59 in Stern. So I'm glad you asked, Larry. We've got crew on the way. That's Bartlett Fire saying there is some structure damage there on Route 59 in Bartlett. I know that popped up as it was moving into northwest Indiana. We were looking at that, and then that tornado warning popped up. So there is some structural damage according to the fire department there.
Yeah, that was a quick spin up right there as the line came through and produced that spin up tornado right over the Bartlett area. And now again, we're still watching the storms in northwest Indiana. We've got crews going to Bartlett, to northwest Indiana, to Streeter. We're going to the places that we suspect there are tornado touchdowns and damage being reported to us. So of course, after the hockey game, we're going to have a recap from our reporters who are out in the field gathering information. So far, Rob, have you heard of any injuries?
No, no injuries. I mean, the concern from what we've seen in terms of video, guys, would be Streeter. Obviously, we don't have anything yet in from Hobart, but both of you were following that huge debris ball on radar, which is concerning, but I'm not hearing of anything. I'm seeing right now coming in on our live feed, Eric has talked to several residents in Streeter. So as you mentioned, Larry, after hockey tonight, we're going to hear a lot of survival stories from there.
Yeah.
You know, we appreciate you following this along with us and sharing the reports as we're getting them in from all of the crew out there.
Is this it, you guys? I know you're saying it's weakening and it moves through it and there's not much to the west and it picked up speed, but I know northwest Indiana and some people are still watching us out there need to be careful. But once this front is through, we look to be in the clear, right?
Yeah, it'll be over. Once this front comes through, it's over. I was just checking the tornado warning time for LaPorte County.
Okay.
Until 9:15 is when that expires, so about another 20 minutes
or so. Yeah,
but it's
that
going to come off
expires.
soon.
Okay, and then once that expires, you're pretty confident, maybe some rain and wind, but certainly not any more tornado warnings.
We're going to take a quick pause because Cheryl's going to do an update on
Okay.
ABC 7, so we're going to hold right now.
Okay.
Meteorologist Cheryl Scott, we have been tracking destructive thunderstorms moving through the area this evening. We do have an update here. The worst of the weather is now moving to the east of us. We still have rain south of the city with some lightning, some gusty winds, and one tornado warning here for parts of LaPorte County, which is set to expire there at 9:15, but it is continuing to move out and away. And also just want to rewind back to 5:40 when we had a very intense, strong supercell thunderstorm touching down with a large confirmed wedge tornado. We now have video coming in of that destruction from earlier this evening, and our crews are out there. And this is one gentleman here where we have emergency personnel just sifting through some of this damage and helping to basically help this person and help him get out of the debris and the destruction. We're going to have more of these stories coming up for you after the game. Everyone, stay safe.
When I'll start telling you your ankle, like.
And good evening, everyone. We are back here monitoring the storm situation across the board. The good news is split screen. Larry showing what happened this evening with all of the storms and the storm reports. The worst of the storms now out over Lake Michigan and moving away from us. And we are tornado warning free for the first time in several hours, Larry. But the storms definitely leaving their mark this evening.
Shortly after 5 o'clock is when we got our first tornado warning, and we've had tornado warnings from then till just about 5 minutes ago as these storms have finally exited off to the east. A large number of tornado reports here showing up on the map across parts of northwest Indiana, from St. John to Hobart to Merrillville, over towards parts of Valparaiso, or south of Valparaiso, I should say, and then also back into parts of Grundy County, Livingston, LaSalle County. A number of tornado reports down this way as well. We had a couple of tornado reports across DuPage County yet, which have not been confirmed. But we've gotten a number of high wind reports as well as these storms came across the area. Good news, as Cheryl mentioned, we have no tornado warnings in our area, and just a severe thunderstorm warning continuing for parts of LaPorte County and even Porter County. You have a small sliver of a severe thunderstorm warning, but things are calming down. From the city back to the west, the rain is ending and the worst is over. We can say that with a high degree of confidence, Cheryl. The worst of these storms are moving away from us.
Yep, they are moving out and away, and we are thinking about everyone that has been impacted by this storm system this evening. We have crews out there assessing the damage, and we will have a full recap of everything coming up on ABC 7 after the Stanley Cup game this evening, and we hope to see you there, and we'll continue to monitor the storm situation this evening.
Just Larry Mowry. The worst of the storms have moved out of our area and the rain has come to an end here across the city and much of Illinois. Still some showers and some lightning strikes across parts of northwest Indiana, but the severe weather is now pushed towards South Bend into southwest Michigan and down into central Indiana. So we're drying out for the most part, but still some leftover rain and still some lightning strikes occurring across parts of northwest Indiana. Look at the scope of this storm complex that blew through. We had this really intense line of thunderstorms and individual supercell thunderstorms out ahead of it move through our area. Now that's surging across northern Indiana. Back to the west, it's drying out and will stay dry through the rest of the night tonight. Here's a look at those storm reports, the high wind reports, the damage reports, and then the tornado reports as well. A number of tornadoes reported for areas south of I-80, one up into southwest Wisconsin as well. A lot of damage reports coming in across our area from these storms, and we've got reporters positioned throughout our entire area to bring you live reports coming up on ABC 7 News at 10 o'clock, which will air right after the hockey game on ABC 7. But look at the storms that developed and produced these tornadoes that moved from the southwestern suburbs into northwest Indiana. And now, of course, we're starting to dry things out. So we'll keep an eye on the storms as they move away from us. Still some gusty winds out there, but temperatures are starting to drop. In fact, overnight tonight we'll fall into the low 60s and upper 50s. So continue to stay with us here on ABC 7 for our 10 o'clock newscast, which will air right after the hockey game on ABC 7.